Propaganda in Hollywood movies is built into the ingredients list. It's like if you want flour, you need you're going to have to get the meat. And if you want to be able to make movies about certain subjects, you have to be willing to work with some people. And, you know, it'd be nice if you made it so that this is what we're trying to accomplish. And this is showing the negative side of this other society. And this is this is our hero. Because our hero is going to go do America's bidding and go over there. And you're like, okay. And those movies are successful. And so they continue this relationship and you become a bit of a propaganda arm for the government. And in turn, they don't with you.
Right. But that's what makes information so powerful is, you know, you don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about just following the ritual work. Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No,
that is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is.
Y'all, when those Epstein files started surfacing again, Hollywood's biggest names suddenly began trending together. Oprah, Clinton, Whoopi, and people started asking how all these circles connected. But the moment Cat Williams sat down with Joe Rogan, the conversation about Hollywood's traditions pushed those questions into overdrive. One minute it was jokes, studio talk, industry laughs, and the next, timelines were exploding with theories about money, influence, and the quiet deals hiding behind blockbuster movies. Because when Rogan explained how big studios shape projects for sponsors, investors, and powerful partners, saying directors sometimes bend ideas just to get funding, viewers froze the clip. Screenshots spread. Comment sections kept repeating one phrase, follow the money. But the real twist came seconds later. Williams didn't shout names or claim secret rituals. He talked about patterns audiences keep noticing, careers rising overnight, strange trends repeating, jokes that somehow appear around the same people again and again. And suddenly fans started digging old interviews, red carpet photos, Epstein party guest lists, asking why the same circles kept overlapping. Some insiders laughed it off as coincidence. Others went silent. Because once those Epstein connections enter the conversation, even harmless stories start looking suspicious, and every unexpected success begins to feel like part of a bigger script nobody can prove, but everyone wants to understand.
He said the files would change everything, and they were right, just not in the way anyone expected.
Anybody could be on the list.
Anybody. That's the word she chose. Because when your name shows up 24 times in the Jeffrey Epstein files, you need the world to believe it means nothing.
Okay. I wasn't his girlfriend. I wasn't his friend. You were too old for him. I was not only too old, but...
And the questions started multiplying. What would she have been asked to do? And who else might have been caught in the same storm? The moment Whoopi Goldberg tried to defend her reputation, people online began dragging other powerful figures into the narrative, names whispered without proof, stories stitched together from rumors and screenshots. It was like someone kicked open a door to a hallway full of speculation, where every shadow looked like a secret. So let's rewind, because context matters. When the Jeffrey Epstein documents were unsealed in phases, the internet didn't just react, it detonated. Thousands of pages surfaced, flight logs, contacts, depositions, emails, and witness testimony that had been locked away for years. But here's the crucial part many missed. Appearing in those files doesn't equal guilt. Some names showed up because of brief contact, business meetings, social events, or even secondhand mentions. That distinction got buried as clips and headlines raced across social media. At one point, Whoopi's name was discussed online after users claimed to spot references to her in document indexes and transcripts. Supporters quickly pointed out that references in legal files can mean many things, being quoted by someone else, listed in a contact book, or mentioned in passing, and do not prove involvement in wrongdoing. No public record has accused her of a crime related to Epstein. But in the chaos of viral posts, nuance disappears. A single mention becomes a narrative. And that's where the story turns unsettling. Because once a rumor takes hold, it starts demanding bigger villains, bigger twists, bigger betrayals. Every email becomes suspicious, every photo a conspiracy, every silence a confession. The truth gets harder to hear over the noise. And that's the real danger behind scandals like this, not just what's hidden in the files, but how quickly fear and speculation can turn uncertainty into a story that feels real long before it's ever proven.
Please, I'm begging you, Whoopi Goldberg needs your jet to go to Monaco.
Some posts online took things even further, claiming emails used dramatic language and spinning it into something sinister. But here's where facts matter. Mentions of someone in correspondence, especially involving agents arranging travel or charity events, don't automatically imply wrongdoing. Whoopi Goldberg has not been accused of crimes related to Jeffrey Epstein in any official record. And in Hollywood, requests for flights, invitations, or event logistics are handled by teams of managers and publicists every day, often with language that sounds exaggerated, but means very little in context. The story grew louder anyway. Social media threads turned speculation into headlines, and suddenly people were watching The View waiting for a response. When the topic finally came up on air, viewers dissected every sentence, every pause, every joke, trying to decode hidden meaning. But television segments are scripted and produced. Hosts follow timing, legal guidance, and editorial rules. What looks like smooth deflection is often just broadcast discipline. That's the strange part about viral scandals. A single rumor, repeated enough times, starts to feel like proof. A clipped quote becomes a narrative. An unanswered question becomes an accusation. The real danger isn't just what's in documents or emails. It's how quickly fear and outrage can rewrite the story before facts are confirmed. And in moments like this, the truth often gets buried under the noise of what people want to believe instead of what can actually be shown.
If the story was about a bus, maybe, but it's like, so...
That joke was rehearsed, the bus line, hinting Whoopi rides public transit and wouldn't require a billionaire's plane, was written, tested, and deployed on cue. We know this because it occurred twice, word for word, in the same piece. That's not comedic spontaneity. That's message discipline. Someone authored that line. Someone authorized it. And then they ran it like a play. But in between the prepared deflections, Whoopi said something unscripted. Something the attorney surely didn't greenlight. Something that when you listen attentively opens up an altogether other topic. She mentioned she wasn't the only one there.
We're on the island. I was apparently, I don't know. They said I was on the island. They said, I'm like, I don't go anywhere.
Now, let's speak about Oprah Winfrey. Because while Whoopi's name was creating headlines, Oprah's links to the Epstein cosmos were sitting right there in the documents. Quieter, less visible, but perhaps much more foundational.
Ever say they might?
They threatened to. My little girl, who, when I left, was still at the house.
A friend?
Huh?
What little girl?
My little girl, Alex. She's about 4 now.
You mean you had a child?
Yeah.
How old were you when you had that child?
11.
This most dangerous game, as they referred to it, was a matter of human hunting. And when a mind control slave such as myself was stripped of clothes and turned loose in the world.
In this episode, you're about to hear the chilling alarm Mel Gibson says no one in Hollywood wants repeated. We're diving into the disturbing threads he claims tie the Jeffrey Epstein files straight into the heart of the entertainment empire. You'll see why, according to him, certain power players are scrambling to bury what's hidden in plain sight. And we'll revisit the uneasy warnings voices like Corey Feldman and Cat Williams have been dropping for years. Stay close, because the story takes a turn you won't expect. To understand the fear, you have to rewind. Gibson says he saw the industry's shadows long before anyone believed him. As a rising star, he claims he witnessed moments that didn't make sense, fractures in the glamorous illusion that left him shaken. Beneath the red carpets and flashbulbs, he insists there were secrets too dark to name. And when he finally started speaking up, he says the system shut its doors on him overnight. But hold that thought, because what he said years ago still echoes louder now than ever.
This is a bizarre place, and it doesn't take very long. And I'm sure you've experienced this if you've stayed here for any length of time. You come in, you're fresh from the outside, you're off the boat from the farm, still got shit on your shoes. You're in here, people are charmed by that you've still got shit on your shoes. They're charmed by the fresh approach you bring to it, and that's a real thing. But they're also stroking the shit out of you, you know, licking you all over. And that's kind of good for you too. It's great. But it doesn't take very long before you realize, or before it gets to you. It's cascading on you all the time. You can't get away from certain attitudes, from certain modes of behavior that this town and the industry dictate. And no matter how strong you are, when you come in off the farm with those convictions and a certain line of attack, no matter how strong you are going to be affected by this place. It's going to divert you from where you were going. You're going to be diverted. When I came over here, I was oh God, I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
The first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be. Because a whole place can't be like, you know, Weird Town, you know, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill. And it's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like, could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time. And you think, now this is what I mean by actually starting to swim up or downstream with the rest of the salmon. You know, eventually, if you stay here long enough, you'll find yourself doing that. And you have to, there's a way of doing it without doing it. That takes time. And it takes relaxation.
Not being uncomfortable about.
Not being uncomfortable. Realizing it for what it is.
Projecting.
Understanding what it is. Once you understand it, well, then you're not afraid of it anymore. So you can just walk around it, through it, and then get on with what you tried to get on with in the first place. A place like this can humiliate you. And it can humiliate you, it can be humbling. I mean, it does rip your life to pieces.
Does it?
If you'll let it.
Yeah.
And it's always pounding at the walls. These little guys, these little heathens with no soul downstairs with horns on their head with a battering ram trying to like beat your walls in.
Yeah.
But that's your own devils, you know?
Yeah. I mean, as a matter of interest, do you think it's easier because you're an outsider who came in?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because it was glaring to me because I was an outsider who came in. But who isn't an outsider?
He once described Hollywood as a place that feels magical for 5 minutes and then quietly starts eating you alive. When you arrive, he said, you're still carrying the dust of the real world on your shoes. You're hopeful, unguarded, real. People study you like a curiosity, smiling at your rawness, praising your authentic voice. But beneath that praise, he claims, the grooming begins immediately. Mel Gibson compared it to being lifted onto a pedestal, showered with compliments, treated like royalty, until you realize the applause was never kindness. It was leverage. At first, it feels intoxicating. They tell you you're special, irreplaceable, destined. Doors open, cameras flash, strangers call you family. But then the current shifts. Suddenly the warmth turns cold, and the same industry that celebrated you starts pressing on you from every side. Gibson said it hits like a storm surge, relentless, overwhelming. No matter how grounded you think you are, no matter how tightly you cling to your values, the system keeps nudging, bending, rerouting you. And before you notice, the road you swore you'd never leave is already behind you. Here's where his story takes a darker turn. When Gibson first landed in Hollywood in his 20s, he said he felt something off, an undercurrent he couldn't explain. Strange meetings, strange silences, strange looks that lingered too long. He asked questions, but answers never came. Instead, he started building theories in his head that sounded insane even to him. He said it felt like wandering into a horror film town where the music stops when a stranger walks in, where every smile hides a warning. Like someone whispering, don't go near that house on the hill, but never saying why. At first, he convinced himself it was paranoia. Just nerves. Just imagination. But later, he claimed, fragments of truth began lining up in ways he couldn't ignore. Some of the fears he tried to laugh off, he believed were real. Let that sink in. Because one thing Gibson said years ago still echoes louder than ever, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
And a gut full of the whole industry. I mean, it's a very strange place, Hollywood. But it's an odd place. And you imagine all these horror stories there that you think, boy, it seems as if I'm being sacrificed over here. No, that couldn't be true. And then you realize that it is true. And you have to, I just left for a while and took a couple of years off, bought a place down in Australia and started digging holes and putting up fences and birthing cattle and all this kind of stuff. And it was fun, you know, it was fun. It was great. And it was a good breather.
Yeah, and then of course the comeback, what a comeback, Lethal Weapon. It wasn't bad, was it?
It was all right.
And so to hear people say things that are just crazy, like I'm a part of a cabal and there's a whole conspiracy, which that's...
Mel Gibson once described Hollywood as a place so surreal it feels like you're starring in your own nightmare. He said you start inventing terrifying scenarios in your head, thinking you're being offered up, used, traded, and then you laugh it off because it sounds impossible. Until one day you realize the fear wasn't fantasy. It was a warning. That's when, he says, he walked away. He disappeared from the noise, left the parties, the premieres, the whispers. For years, he hid out in Australia, building fences with his own hands, digging ditches, helping cattle deliver calves, forcing himself back into a world where nothing was scripted. It was his way of remembering what real life felt like. Now let's talk about the Jeffrey Epstein files everyone's arguing over, because they're tied to the storm Gibson keeps hinting at. Reports about Bill Clinton in those records have reignited old questions about his connection to Epstein, including photos and testimonies that critics say suggest a closer relationship than previously admitted. Some witnesses claimed Epstein bragged crudely about powerful friends. Clinton has denied wrongdoing and said he had limited contact, but the debate keeps growing louder. And beyond politics, photos from Epstein's events showed a long list of celebrities: Michael Jackson, Mick Jagger, Diana Ross, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, Richard Branson, appearing at gatherings or properties. Most of them were never accused of crimes in the documents, but their presence showed just how wide Epstein's social network reached into politics, business, and entertainment. Then there's the controversy over redactions. Some released pages were heavily blacked out, fueling suspicion about what information remains hidden and why. Officials say redactions protect privacy or ongoing investigations, while critics argue they shield powerful names. That tension between what's known and what's concealed is exactly where Gibson's warning begins to feel unsettling. Because the deeper you look, the more questions appear, and the harder it becomes to tell where rumor ends and reality starts. And that's the moment, Gibson says, when you realize how dangerous unanswered secrets can become.
The most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Our future is our children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
Mel Gibson also spoke out about what he called one of the darkest crimes on earth, human trafficking. He said the crisis, especially when children are involved, demands attention from everyone, because protecting the next generation means refusing to look away. He urged people to stay informed and support efforts that raise awareness, including films like Sound of Freedom. For him, the message was simple. Awareness is the first step towards stopping something that survives in silence. When the film came out, it sparked intense conversation. Some viewers praised its message, while critics debated its accuracy and approach. Gibson publicly endorsed it, and suddenly the project became a lightning rod. Supporters asked why major platforms like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon didn't carry or promote it in the way people expected. Industry insiders pointed to distribution contracts, marketing choices, and business strategy as common reasons films don't land on certain services, but the lack of clarity fueled rumors online. The movie had earlier been connected to the Walt Disney Company through studio acquisitions before eventually finding a different distributor. That shift confused many viewers, and speculation filled the gap where confirmed details were scarce. Some saw conspiracy, others saw routine industry decisions. But the debate revealed something deeper: how quickly suspicion grows when information is incomplete. And that tension between fear, outrage, and unanswered questions is exactly what Gibson warned about. Because in Hollywood, sometimes the loudest drama isn't what's proven, it's what people start believing when trust begins to collapse.
One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness.
Me! I must appease him with the gift of a man. Come to me! I must take you to the room of wish. No, take him! No! Take them! Don't eat me!
I'm sure that it will be fine.
They're eating kids. They're eating kids. They're eating kids. How the f*** is nobody upset? They're eating children.
Somebody you admire, somebody you respect, or maybe even love. And it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, you're crazy, because everybody wants to believe it's like sex and you're being thrown up against the wall and you're being raped. And I have said for years, if the abuse is any...
Hollywood isn't whispering anymore, it's scrambling. The second Mel Gibson dropped that eerie last warning, the energy behind studio gates flipped from smug silence to pure panic. No name shouted, no documents flashed, just hints about what he says is buried inside the Epstein records, and suddenly group chats lit up, PR teams went ghost, and insiders started deleting posts like something ugly was about to surface. Because the past week? Total chaos. That explosive documentary cracking open Sean Diddy Combs' inner circle already had executives sweating. Then those sealed Epstein files resurfaced, and timelines started connecting dots nobody wanted connected. And now Gibson's comments feel like a fuse burning closer to the dynamite. Sources say every rumor, every quiet alliance, every old favor is starting to look linked. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it's paranoia. Or maybe Hollywood knows something the public doesn't. Because when powerful people panic this fast, it usually means a bigger story is about to break.
Now, Oprah is limited in the context of the files, but there is clear collusion between Oprah and Jeffrey.
Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, a recorded character in the Epstein archives, addressed Epstein a direct email before appearing on Oprah's program. The email was explicit. She wanted Epstein to know she was coming on Oprah. She needed his advice on how to answer queries about him. She was effectively running her talking points through Epstein before getting down with one of the most viewed television personalities on the globe.
Sarah sent Epstein an email saying, I want to make sure you're aware I'm going on Oprah tomorrow. I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of this and seek your advice on how you want me to answer.
Read that again, slowly. She wasn't just emailing Jeffrey Epstein. She was asking him how to answer Oprah's questions. That means the interview millions of viewers trusted as a moment of truth may have been guided from behind the curtain by the very man at the center of the scandal. No shouting, no chaos. Just quiet talking points, written, approved, and sent back before cameras rolled. And somehow, that detail never became the headline. So now the question isn't just about one email. It's about patterns. The same powerful names orbiting the same scandals. The same friendly red carpet photos. The same alliances people only question years later. Even Joe Rogan said the real issue is transparency. Why does the story always feel incomplete? And here's where you come in. Because the next clip gets even darker and most channels won't play it. So if you want the full breakdown before it disappears, hit subscribe right now, drop your opinion in the comments, and tell me coincidence or something bigger hiding in plain sight. Because once you start connecting the dots, you can't unsee the picture. And what comes next might explain everything.